What's up, guys? Hey, I'm here showing you the new Berkley Swamp Lord frog. There's two different styles here you can see. Your standard frog with the kill belly and the pointed nose right there. And then of course your poppin' style frog. Probably my favorite. Find myself throwing this more so than the other one. We're gonna talk about some of the features on this frog. You guys probably have heard about it by now. There's what it looks like in packaging. So at least the poppin' frog. This is designed by Bobby Lane, both of them. Here's the other one. That's the regular frog in packaging. And again, designed by Bobby Lane. So both of these frogs, they weigh 2/3 of an ounce. So they're heavy frogs, guys. That's gonna help you tremendously casting these frogs. Whether it's skipping up underneath, docks or cover, or also just like out here on Lake Gunnersville, casting to these mats. You want to be able to get that frog a long ways away from the boat, get some distance between you and the bait. That's going to help you get more bites always on top water. I don't care what anybody says. The bait further away from the boat is going to make those fish not feel so scared to come up and eat the bait the further you can get it away. So again, 2/3 of an ounce, 2.4 inches, Fusion 19 hooks, guys, super sharp hooks. So we'll show you right here how soft the body is. Really soft body, collapses really nicely. These are the Fusion 19 hooks. Both of the frogs you'll see on the belly at the hook shank, they have shrink wrap tubing around the hook shank. And what's really cool about that, I'll show you with the white one, or the whiter belly, it's easier to show you. But what's really cool about that is the hole in the belly of the frog wraps around that shrink wrap and kind of almost, vacuum seals it right there, where it makes it really hard for water to get in, at least when you're working the rod or working the bait on the surface, and you're working it back to the boat. It's going to be really hard for water to get in. Obviously, if a fish comes up, slams it, takes it down, it's submerged and they're pulling and you're fighting the fish and all that, you're going to get some water in the frog. So you just want to, of course, pull it back up, squeeze it, get that water back out. But while you're working the frog, huge shout out to Bobby on this design right there, because that was really cool. Makes a big difference in keeping water out. Both of them have round rubber legs. You can see right here. So a lot of action in the water. These things are going to spread apart, just have a lot of lifelike movement in the water. And let's just talk now a couple things. So one tip, probably my best tip for frog fishing, is always making sure that your hook points are not pointed into the frog. So this doesn't matter what brand you throw, any brand. Anytime you get a frog out of the package, you want to run your fingers down the side of the frog where the hooks are, and you want to make sure they stick, right? So right here you can see, without having to push in on the frog, both of my fingers are sticking to the hook point. And so what that tells me is when a bass grabs that, it only needs to collapse just a little bit. If it just collapses just a little bit, I'm gonna get even more bite on it. So you can see right there, some nice bite there. But I want that bait, or I want those hooks to be able to barely poke me, when I get this bait out of the package. So I'm always gonna keep a pair of pliers close by anytime I'm getting a new frog out of the package. And if I need to tweak it a little bit, I'll just grab the bottom of the frog, like right in this area, and just kind of pull out just a little bit. You're just trying to bend those hooks out just enough to be able to get that hook point off the body to where, like we talked about, where it'll stick your fingers if you just run them down the frog. So you want to do that on both frogs. Doesn't matter if it's the poppin' or the regular frog, and makes a big difference in hook penetration, hook up, getting the fish in the boat, all that stuff. So let's talk about the poppin' frog, where you're going to fish it. For me, this is mostly more of an open water frog. I don't throw it around a lot of cover, for the main fact that the poppin' frog itself, or the mouth of the bait, with that hole right there, the little cup mouth, if you're trying to work it through cover, it's always going to be getting hung in there and kind of getting stopped on the cover, if you're trying to bring it through grass and stuff. So the keel on this and the pointed nose come through cover so much better. So the regular frog is more of my heavier cover frog, and the poppin' frog is going to be more of my open water frog, or skipping under trees, skipping under docks, lily pad fields, I will throw the popping frog through, you know, or just walking it down some seawalls or even some reed lines or Thule lines, whatever, you know, like we have out in the Delta or up north or down in Florida. You know, popping frog is great working and walking it through those tall reeds, cattails, whatever, stuff like that. So those are the two main differences with the frogs and where I throw them. And the last thing we're going to talk about, guys, is the setups that you need if you're going to be frog fishing. So if you're going to throw the popping frog, obviously, you know, you don't need a super heavy rod. I recommend a 7'3" heavy. So I would say you need a heavy rod, not a super long rod, because you're going to be making short casts, skipping up under the docks, a lot of little underhand rolls, stuff like that. So 7'3" is the max. You can even get away with like a 7 foot heavy. 7 foot medium heavy is a little bit too light. These hooks are just too thick for that light of a rod. But a 7 foot heavy, a 7.2 heavy, 7.3 heavy, like this guy right there, this is a great rod or great size rod for open water frogging and throwing this popping frog. I'm going to throw it on 50-pound braid every single time. I've never found a reason not to use 50-pound braid. And then an 8-to-1 reel, so a pretty fast reel. I'm always going to throw a frog on an 8-to-1 too, guys. So I want to be able to get that frog in really quick and make a cast back if I missed one, or be able to get it in really quick and throw the follow-up bait back in that same spot. So, and then if we're going up to this frog and we're fishing heavier cover like we have out here on Guntersville, actual grass mats, real thick, I'll go all the way up to a 7.6 heavy, or even, guys, I promise you, not lying here, 7.11 extra heavy. And all that allows me to do is get the bait further away from the boat and get a really good hook penetration in on those long casts. So I will scale up also to 65-pound braid when I'm fishing that thick of mats. And again, on the hooks, guys, I want to make sure that they're just off the body, not poke back into the plastic at all. And then you can see, like right here, when that fish bites down on it, and these frogs are soft, guys. They're really soft. But when that fish bites down, those hook points are right there. You're going to get great hookup with these things. So all these frogs are going to be available on tacklewarehouse.com. You guys can go check them out over there now. I think they're available for pre-order, but you can also read about them and see all the different colors. Like this guy right there, I believe they're calling that honey shad. Of course, we showed you the voodoo black, MF bluegill, probably my favorite color. Copperhead is always a good one, just reddish brown, real natural type of color. So you guys make sure to check them out. I'll put a link in the description below where you guys can go to Tackle Warehouse and see them. But they're going to be available right now on Tackle Warehouse. It says October 10th. So give or take, you know, could be a little bit before that, might be after that. But they are going to be available for sure this fall. And I think you guys are going to fall in love with the new Swamp Lord. Bobby did a great job on this frog, and looking forward to filling my box with it for 2025. So you guys check them out. I hope you got a few good tips on this video. If you have any questions, shoot me a direct message on Instagram. I always try and answer questions over there. So happy to help, guys. Hope you have a good day, and we'll see you guys next time. Take care.